Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Jimmy La. I'm one of the AHN moderators for the group. I guess, William, want to just quickly introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, this is William Hung, and you probably know me from American Idol.
That's right. So one quick thing there too. I was thinking about how, so your American Idol audition was in 2004, right?
Yeah.
So I was trying to think about where, what social media platforms was available. So I looked it up. There was MySpace in 2003. There was YouTube in 2005, Twitter in 2006, Instagram in 2010, and Snapchat in 2011. So none of this social media platform outside of MySpace, I guess, existed before your American Idol audition. So with your name, it's a household name now. So you're able to maintain that fame, that popularity with just your name. So that's what impressed me, at least.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so that's our introduction for ourselves, and the purpose of today's session is, thank you, William, for making yourself available, joining us today, and speaking live in front of our audience here. And the purpose of our AMA today is just to help answer questions that a lot of our attendees have, as well as help us navigate with today's uncertainty with the whole, as well as COVID-19. So we just want to make sure we take a step back and where we're at today, able to navigate it and take advantage of it, and make sure we understand what we need to do as next steps. And that's why we brought you on board today, to help us navigate, as well as help us change your mentality as well. So you, as a book writer, a motivational speaker, public speaker, life coach, as well as even a poker player. So you have a lot of these life experiences that I think would add value to a lot of the attendees here today.
Yeah, I'm excited because I'm a big believer in starting your side hustles, having multiple side hustles so that you can do what you love, make reasonable amount of money to live the lifestyle that you want to live, and most importantly, live with joy and purpose every day.
Can't agree more. So let's talk real quick about some of the administrative items too. So for those that are attended, there's a questions tab. So make sure you ask your questions in the questions tab. You can also upvote it. That way it goes on top of the list when I filter it, and I'll know which questions to prioritize first. So start asking some of your questions in the questions tab. We'll get to those in a couple of minutes. I'll start with a few opening questions for William. And then from there, we'll transition over to some of the questions tab, or some of the questions that you have. Alrighty? So William, I'll start with some opening questions for you first. So let's transition back and go back to 2004 and talk a little bit more about your American Idol audition. So walk us through how you felt about your American Idol audition and how it's impacted your life and your career.
Wow. When I auditioned for American Idol, I didn't expect anything. Most of the time, I just thought, well, it's not going to work out, and I could just go back to school, and then everything will be normal. Nothing will happen. But after the Fox broadcasted my audition, I got this crazy reaction. Like the students suddenly want to take pictures and want my autograph. I got a record contract. It's like, what is going on?
That's right. So what did you do after that then, I guess? I saw that you published a couple of albums. Yeah. You started your music career. What else did you do outside of that?
Well, here's the first major decision I had to make in terms of uncertainty. The first major decision was whether to even go forward with the record contract. On the surface, it seems like no-brainer, right? Because as a 20-year-old kid back in 2004, the record company gave me a $25,000 record contract. It's unbelievable. But then I also thought about the negative criticism that people were saying things like William Hung portrays the biggest Asian stereotypes. William Hung is the worst singer ever, right? So like I hear these different voices. There's people saying, "Yeah, this is so courageous. You're so amazing. Go for it." So yeah, that's those. So that's the first major decision, and then what pushed me over the edge to say yes to the entertainment opportunity was when someone was bold enough to write an article saying that William Hung committed suicide.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously not true, but I feel that even though it's a joke or a hoax or whatever, I feel that that's when I feel like I need to take control of my narrative. I had to be the author of my own story.
Right. And is that also covered in your book as well?
Yeah. So my book is called Champion by Choice, and we'll go over that a little bit later.
Okay, sounds good. And then, so let's talk about how. Let's see. Let's walk through on sort of your thought process and how you were able to adapt and be focused on your new initiative. So, were there things that you had to prioritize and things that you had to less prioritize?
Yeah, absolutely. So just to fill in some context, what happened was I was having this 4 years of dream life. I got paid lots of money to do whatever I want in my life, but something bothered me. And what bothered me was that I got more satisfaction winning a $11 poker tournament for a few $1,000s compared to the 6 figures that I was making from the entertainment business.
Right.
It's like, I wonder why. I sat down, I figured out, why is that? What's going on in my head? What's going on with my monkey brain? But it turns out that the American Idol path, I felt that I had to take the high road. It was the best choice I could have made, and I won't take that back. But at the same time, maybe I didn't enjoy the entertainment industry as much as I thought I would. But the poker, it was because I felt like the reason I enjoy it more is because I chose that passion. I feel that I have the freedom and flexibility to excel in my own creative way.
I see, got it, and it makes sense. Okay, so those are the open questions that we have. Let's see. Oh, so I know one topic that I've been getting a lot from comments or from others is about the whole COVID-19.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about a little bit about that. I know that's on a lot of people's minds.
Uh-huh.
So, what are some of the mindset changes you need to make to adapt to the current COVID-19 pandemic? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, absolutely. So you also mentioned the prioritize part of it, and they're both related. Like, how do you prioritize? I would say that the best thing you can do, one of the best things you can do, is to take some time to figure out the impact that you want to make. Now is the best time because things slow down. You have a chance to think about your future. And I learned that from one of my mentors, Jacqueline. She's amazing. She's here today. So yeah, that it's not just about making money. It's about like, what do you see for the long term, right? Because there's so many ways you can deliver what you want to deliver. You can deliver it through speaking. You can deliver it through membership group, whatever it is. But what is the end goal, the impact?
Wow. Okay. No, I agree with you more. And yes, shout out to Jacqueline. Thanks for joining us today, and as well as supporting, William. And William obviously is here to support all of us as well. So it's a downstream impact. So thank you so much for all your help. So William, should we transition over to some of the questions first, or do you have time to talk about your book? It's up to you.
No. Let's address the question. That's what they're here for.
Exactly. Let's do that. Okay. Perfect. All right, so I'll start from the top on some of the more popular questions first.
Okay.
So this one's from Stephanie. She said, "Hi, William. I was in middle school when I saw your audition on American Idol." Let's see. Now that I'm a young adult, I would like to get your perspective on how Asian American issues have changed from 15 to 20 years ago to now.
Oh, I love this question, and it's something that I covered in my book, Champion by Choice. Because the hardest one is like it's like the a part about when people thought that I portray Asian stereotypes. So at this point in my life, looking back, I acknowledge it, but I don't apologize for it. Because I feel that everybody has a right to try something new without being judged or ridiculed. So I'm very glad that now we are more open-minded about Asians trying different things. Because even 5 years ago, there's not that many Asian entertainers. There's not that many Asian gamers. There's not that many Asian knitters, right? But now we feel like we can just be just a normal human being doing what we love.
I can't agree more. And even today, I mean, that's one of the main visions of Asian Hustle Network is to just assist one another to bring each other to the next level. We all have our goals, our aspirations, and we're here to support one another to get us there. So that's one of the missions of Asian Hustle Network, as well as that's a very positive thing I've seen from all the posts from one another. People are asking questions, people have concerns, and people step in, they answer those questions, they help each other out, which is the most impressive thing about the network so far. Okay, so let's move on to the next question from Andrew. Why is it important to you that people find their path to success without being judged or ridiculed?
Well, Andrew, think about the things that you want to try in your life, and then you have imagine your parents tell you that, hey, you're not supposed to do this, because that's what my Asian parents told me, right? They told me like you shouldn't quit your job, you shouldn't audition for American Idol, you shouldn't play poker, all that stuff. But if you listen to all those things, eventually you just settle for what the society tells you to do instead of what you really want to do.
Right, great advice. Okay, and the next question is from Francis. How do you deal with negative comments or feedback about your personality or anything that you do?
Francis, I would say the best way to handle negative feedback and comments is to figure out if they are constructive. Because I remember like Simon Cowell was not the most productive person, when it comes to negative feedback. He just said, "You can't sing, you can't dance. So what do you want me to say?" Right? I mean, it's not much I can do with that. That's not specific. But if I don't think he would ever do this, but if you were to say like, well, here's what I don't like, here's what I like, here's what I don't like, specific, like, oh, maybe you need to work on your dance moves beforehand, or maybe you need to sing on tune, right? Like whatever, right? Something specific that can help me, then I figure out if I can implement it in my life.
Great advice. Great advice. I agree with that. All right, let's move on to the next one. This one's from Brian. So, what made you audition for American Idol?
I was struggling with civil engineering. I wasn't happy. I feel like I'm just doing it because of my parents. I don't want to disappoint them. I don't want to let them down. So when I saw this poster for a school talent show, I thought I just had to try. And then somehow I won, singing that same song, She Bangs by Ricky Martin. So that's what gave me the confidence to audition for American Idol.
Yep. And so how did you pick that song? That's a question I have, I guess. There's so many, songs that you could sing. How did you decide on Ricky Martin, She Bangs?
I would say that was a catchy tune that was unique at the time. So that's why I went with that one.
Okay. All right, and this question is the next one. Are you ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so this one's from Maggie. William, we know you recently left your 9-to-5 job. Congratulations. what would your best advice be for someone who is trying to leave their corporate job and transition into doing their side business full time?
I would say start off by treating it as a side hustle. And what people might not know is that after my initial 4 years of American Idol fame, my intimate career slowed down, and I had to get a job to sustain myself. So that's why I went back to school. I got my job, and then I worked for the government job for almost 8 years. But I wasn't happy because I feel like I want to do something that only William Hung can do, not everybody else can do. So the way I got there was I felt like I always had that talent for poker, and I treat it like a business. I spent over 1,500 hours last year playing poker on the side just to prove that I can make it. And then by January 2020, that's when I decided, you know what? There's no perfect time. I'm doing well enough with that. And I was confident that with poker, with some side income from speaking, from my books, from cameo appearances, and other sources of income, that I will have a much better life by quitting my job. So whatever your passion is, you start off small, but you take it seriously. I would say do it like 3 months at a time. Forget the 5-year, 10-year plan. That's way too long. Just 3 months at a time. Figure out like what are the steps that you need to get there. Like for example, if you want to be a professional gamer, study people that are very successful on Twitch and YouTube. What are they doing? How do they build their community? How do they get a bunch of people donating to them on Patreon? Right? So figure out those things and then work from there.
And you bring up a good point too. So now that I think about it, people always talk about you need to come up with a 1 year, 2 year, 5, 10-year plan, but realistically, in today's environment, things move so quickly, right?
Yeah.
You have to adapt to something within months now.
Right.
So you can't just another year think about, okay, 2 years from now, what are you going to do? That supports your vision, but you have to be able to adapt and be flexible, and also make sure you understand today's market because it changes so suddenly.
Right.
For example, COVID-19 came out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
This is something that just surprised all of us, and we all have to adapt to it today.
Right.
All right. So this next question is from Jenna. How did you develop thick skin leading up to your audition at 20 years old and beyond?
Oh, Jenna, I don't know if thick skin would be the best way to describe my American Idol experience, because it's more like a life philosophy. I just thought that judges from American Idol, they were playing their roles. They're not personally attacking me, so I don't feel I need to attack them back personally. I don't need to be the one that's throwing water bottles at Simon Cowell. Right, I don't need to get angry and upset or cry walking out of the room. So yeah, so it's more like the way I saw the situation, and then what my mom taught me was very valuable as well. My mom taught me that it's okay to fail as long as you tried your best. My mom is always it's really weird. My mom seems to be the overprotective one. But she's also the one that's more supportive. She just wants me to be happy. She just wants me to make it somehow.
Yep, makes sense. All right, so thank you for asking that and answering that question. So let's move on to the next one. This one is also from Maggie once again. So what has been your biggest accomplishment after American Idol?
Oh, the biggest accomplishment is inspiring millions of people with my album Inspiration, inspiring people with my speaking. I would say that's the biggest accomplishment, like helping people keep their dreams alive. Because I remember that when I was a kid, I had many dreams. Like being video gamer, playing ping pong, all those fun things. And then as life went, as we become adults, all of a sudden the dreams just disappeared because of obligations, because of the conditions, whatever. So yeah, so I would say that's the, when after I do finish doing my talk, and people come up to me and say, "Oh my God, William, you changed my life. You changed the way I look at my life now." So something along those lines. That's the most gratifying.
I couldn't agree more. You've made an impact to so many people's lives, so that's the key takeaway there, and that's most satisfying.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is from Vincent. What are a couple of goals or plans you have for the next 5 to 10 years?
Wow, Vincent, I do not think about 5 to 10 years. As we discussed, this 5 to 10 years is just too long. But I am thinking about the impact. That's something that I'm still exploring, because I think that the part about inspiring people to keep chasing their dreams is not that specific enough. And so I would say now that I know that I always love gaming. I remember when I was a kid, I would play Super Mario Brothers, get in line with a bunch of kids in Hong Kong, and then like wherever I lose a life, I had to go back to the end, right? And that sucks, because that means I don't get to play for the rest of the day. So eventually I figured out how to beat it. Back then there's no YouTube, no strategy guys, and then the kids were like, "Well, what? How do you do that?" Right? So that's really satisfying. So something about in my DNA that I love gaming, and I want to translate that into helping young adults to make better decisions in their life. I want to provide some kind of platform. I'm not sure how it's going to happen yet. It could be a gaming app. It could be a membership group. I'm not sure yet, but I have some idea of the impact I want to make long term.
Got it. And that sticks with what your ultimate purpose and what you aspire to do as well. It's just make an impact to people.
Yeah.
It's alongside with that. Yep. Okay, so speaking about helping people, this question is from Andrew. So, what is your path to become a life coach, and what do you do as a life coach?
Andrew, so I would say the path to become a life coach is actually it's just reaching out to people. It's simple but not easy. So the way as I'll give away quite a bit of few secrets here. So the way I get my clients is that I would participate in webinars, podcast interviews, and Facebook groups. I would comment on some of the posts that I see that resonates with me. That I want to be, and then what happens is that when you do enough of those things together, showing up like webinar, podcasts, and Facebook groups, people eventually will reach out to you. They will ask, "Oh wow, that's so cool! That's an amazing insight that you share," and then they want to learn more about you. And then eventually, some of those people, they want to book a call with me. And then that's how I get some of the clients. I don't work with that many people right now because it's not my number one priority. Because the number one priority is to figure out the impact I want to make. But I would say that in terms of working with people, that's how I get my clients. And then what was the other thing he mentioned?
So what do you do as a life coach?
Okay, what do I do? Yeah, sure. So I help them change their mindset about public speaking, the storytelling. That's the problem I solve for my clients I work with right now.
So what's some of your advice that you have for us then to focus on public speaking? I'd say if you had to give us one or two advice real quick or suggestions, what do you recommend us work on in the immediate term?
Oh, absolutely. I give you guys three. So you might want to write this down. So number one is to avoid comparing yourself with others. It sounds like generic advice, but it's not. Because I'm not the person to tell you, oh, you need to fix this structure. You need to say this particular phrase, right? That's not me. That's not my expertise. But my expertise is the mindset for how you deliver your message. So I would say that by avoiding comparing yourself with others, you come across as someone that's grounded, right? I'm not the next Tony Robbins. That's okay. right? So, and then the second one, taking personal responsibility for your own progress, that's also very helpful because let's say you share your story about failing a business or you got into divorces, whatever, right? Whatever, something that's failure or frustration. If you come from a place of taking personal responsibility, you will empower your audience. But if you come from a place of blaming, like oh my God, my previous ex-wife is terrible, she cheated on me, then that's not going to empower people. So it affects the way that your message is being received. And then finally, always find the best way to help others. Like when I share my poker experience, I'm not going into the nitty-gritty of how I got there. I'm just sharing the most important takeaways so that I'm benefiting you and everybody that's listening.
Okay, so if I got that right, first one is don't compare yourself to others.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly is taking personal responsibility.
Yes.
And lastly is finding the path and focusing on that. Is that correct?
Always find the best way to help others. How do you frame your story to help other people?
Got it. No, great advice. That's outstanding. Okay, so we had briefly touched base on priorities. So this question's from Rendell. What are your current top priorities in life? You might have touched base on that, but if you could elaborate on that again, that would be helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say my current priorities. Number one would be to get clear on the long-term impact that I want to make. And then in terms of how I just give you some insight about how I manage my life. I'm still putting in about 30 hours of actual playtime for online poker. And then I would put in at least 1 or 2 hours of study time a day. And then the other hours, I use it to develop my speaking, to show up to people, connect with family and friends, take some breaks. Because it's not about, even though we love hustling, it's not like hustling, 60 to 80 hours a week. You get burned out, it's not sustainable. It doesn't work that way. So it's more like, even though whatever it is that you love doing, it could be studying, whatever, right? Teaching, whatever it is, you still need to find that balance.
Makes sense. All right, and let me check the chat real, just to make sure that we're on track to see if there's any comments that people have for us. Okay, no, they're saying thank you for great advice. Okay, perfect. So we'll go from there. Let's go to the next question. This one is from Jay. How did you approach writing the book, and what did you feel it was right? When did you feel it was the right time?
Jay, for writing my book, I just had this inspiration. Come to me in 2018, like 2 years ago. Because I spoke for a conference called Champion, and their theme was Champion by Choice. So that idea, the name really stuck with me, that theme, because I feel like I didn't mean to become a champion, but people chose me to be a champion. So that's why I wanted to figure out that there's a way to turn my talk into a book, and then now I finally did it. It came out last year, October. And then let me just show you guys real quick.
All right.
There you go. Yeah. So it was a long process because the hard part wasn't the writing. The hard part was figuring out the message that I want to put out in the world. I had to say writing was a lot harder than I thought. I had to get a lot of help, to get it done. So I don't see myself writing that many books, but that's probably why I care so much about every word I say in the book.
Which makes sense. Okay. And then so tell us where we could purchase your book at if we're interested.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can go to willhung.com. Let me put it in the chat box. There you go, and then you can see you'll find the links there, and then it'll be very straightforward.
Perfect. And it's also available on Amazon and other as well? Okay.
Yes.
Great. So let's transition back to some of the other questions from the group. Question is from Eric. Looking back at everything, you were one of the early viral celebrities. What are your thoughts on today's social media culture going viral and making it big on social media via YouTube, TikTok, etc.? I mean, there's so many social media platforms today.
Yeah, I would say now it's much harder to go viral than before. I would say that you don't want to just focus on going on viral because it's beyond your control. Focus on putting out content that you know, as people say, like high quality content. And what that means is that content that you believe in, content that you put a lot of work and research in, and just put it out there. Because sometimes maybe it's not the most important thing to go viral. It'll come when the time is right. Right? I have a friend that's a creator. Her name is Fei Wu. She's the Facebook media person. So and she works so hard for so many years on her YouTube channel. And I see that she only get like 10 views, 50 views, less than 100, right? And then all of a sudden there's this one video using Zoom video how to teach dance that got 50,000 views. And then all of a sudden she's the next she's not the next YouTube celebrity, but she's getting a lot more traffic. She's getting paid by YouTube for the first time ever. So you don't know when that's going to come. So that's why I would say that just keep showing up, putting out the content, and then once there's that connection between you and the audience, you see it, you'll know it, and then you can focus on it. You can double down on it.
Okay, you're right. Consistency is key here.
Yeah.
Okay. And Eric, let us know if that answers your question. Feel free to respond back in the chat box. I'll move on to the next one. Let's see. This one is from Connie. How did you determine what your comfortable stream of income was to leave your day job? What are some of your financial planning tips? I know we're not financial planners here, but what, in your opinion, what's some of your financial planning tips?
Oh, no problem. So the way I figure out whether I have enough to leave my job is I figure out how much I need to spend each month. I'm a just to put it out there, right now I am single and ready to mingle, so I can keep my expenses very low. so yeah, so I would say that my expenses maybe like about 4K a month overall to keep the lights on, do what I need to do, travel a little bit, whatever, right? So it's not that high. And then once I could make way more than that, like at least double or triple that each month, that's when I know that, okay, well, now maybe it's time to transition. And then in terms of the overall management, I'm very grateful that I saved and invested the money I made before from American Idol, because at the end of the day, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. I heard so many horror stories from other celebrities that they could make $20 million or $1 billion, and they still go broke. It's like, why? So I'm glad I didn't do that, and I could enjoy the lifestyle that I want.
Not bad. One thing for you to also consider too, Connie, is everybody's number is different. There's some folks who, need more means than others. So
right.
You have to step back and think about, what you need for yourself, for your family, etc. What makes sense for you, as well as, how that will shape and help you meet your end goal. Okay, so let's go on to a couple of next questions here. This one is from Tim. Are you still singing What's Your Favorite Song today?
Yeah, so Tim, it's hard to say. I would say my favorite song is probably like my original song, Just Do It. But usually that's not the song people request. The song that everybody requests is She Bangs. And people have asked me like, do you still sing? And the answer is yes. But the way I do it is different, because I don't just put it randomly on YouTube where I'm not getting traction or momentum. what's interesting is that the way that people want me to sing is through an app called Cameo. And then people would pay anywhere between $20 to $100 each time for me to sing a little bit of shebangs, deliver some inspirational message, a short message like between 30 seconds to 2 minutes, something like that. But that's where I'm getting like hundreds of requests. So that's why sometimes in life, don't be stuck with the how. Focus on just figure out the impact.
And can you talk a little bit more about Cameo? So that's a platform where if people want you to record something, or is it live? How's that work?
Yeah, sure. So it's an app, and then they also have a website where people can request it either way. And then they would put in specific instructions like, please sing "Happy Birthday" to Mary for tomorrow. Maybe one of my coworkers is feeling depressed. Maybe you can sing a little bit shebang to cheer her up, something like that. And then in terms of getting started with that, I would say that you probably need to be an influencer of some kind. You don't have to be a big name, but I saw a lot of other YouTube influencers, Instagram influencers on there that's doing pretty well.
Wow, see, that's another side hustle to start thinking about. Given that we have our stay-at-home orders in so many states now, this is something that people can still do on the side.
Yeah.
Make supplemental income.
Yeah.
If you're an influencer or if you have a presence that people are interested in.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. This one is from Kimchi? Okay, tell us some of your experiences given the TED Talk. How it was being on the Ellen show. Did you reach out to them directly, or did you have to reach out, or did they reach out to you? Also, did you have? Well, let's start from there first, and then there's a couple of follow-up questions. So
yeah, I would say that I'm very fortunate that most of the big speaking engagements I've gotten, and then Ellen, I just got invited. Okay. Yeah, but in terms of preparing for it, then that's different because. For the TED Talk, it was the last one that I did back in 2019 for San Diego. It was one of the hardest talks I delivered. It took me like 3 months to prepare for it, rehearse over and over again, refining over and over again. Because I felt like I was giving the talk of my life, And whenever you are fortunate enough to get invited and accepted for a TED Talk, a TEDx talk even. You treat it like this is the talk of your life, and that's why I did, and that's how I prepared for it.
Okay, and then so did you had mentioned that you assist others with public speaking as a public speaking coach.
Yeah.
So did you bring on coaches for yourself as well?
Yeah, I'm very fortunate that I working with multiple mentors and coaches from Toastmasters. I also did invest in a short-term coaching program. He's like a former world champion public speaking. So yeah, so sometimes if you want something to come out great, you have to make a little bit of investment for yourself.
Yep, couldn't agree more. You got to invest in yourself. That's that's what everyone always says. Even I follow Warren Buffett pretty closely, and that's his number one recommendation. Is always just investing in yourself. That's the number one investment that he would, the number one tip that he would share with everybody all the time. Okay, so this question is from Jay, and it's also about your book as well. So thank you for asking my first question. It feels like you have a strong message to share in becoming a champion by choice. Can you walk us through how you manage growing your following and building relationships?
Well, Jay, I mentioned the tips earlier. So the way I grow my audience is just like anybody. It's just like anybody else. What they would do. It's not some secret sauce that nobody heard of. It's about showing up in different ways. Like showing up for the webinars, showing up for podcast interviews, showing up by commenting on the different on Facebook groups, on LinkedIn posts. And then, having conversations on those platforms. That's how I grow my community.
Yep. And that makes sense. Let's see. I'm going through the list here. I'm trying to filter out what's been answered and what's not. Give me a second here. Okay, so this is from Vivi from Toronto. So, shout out to Toronto here. I know it's 3 hours ahead. What impresses me the most about the network is people from all over the world join these webcasts. I think last week's we had somebody from Australia. It was, I think, 2 or 3 a.m. their time, and they're still so dedicated to join these webinars.
Wow.
That's impressive. Okay, so this question is from Toronto, from Vivi. I want to know how you dealt with and changed the possible lack of faith in your professional abilities after viral fame. I'm interpreting that question as, I guess, how did you continue to be motivated after your viral audition?
Yeah, sure. So her name is, what's her name? Sorry.
Vivi.
Vivi. Okay, cool. Vivi. I knew that I am not the best singer in terms of talent. I know that. Okay, I'm not. I don't mind if people judge me on that. So it's just come from a place of being honest with yourself, and then I figure out that back then the impact that I was making was so huge that I couldn't ignore. I would say the biggest thing I did was I'm a symbol of inspiration. I bring people hope. So once I understand and I realized the kind of impact that I was making, that's when I could get over about, maybe I'm not the best singer, maybe the way I sing is not that great, whatever, because that's not what people care about. That's not what my fans care about. My fans just care about me showing up for them and make them happy.
Yeah, so it sounds like you just got to change your mentality, right? You just can't let this criticism and feedback get to you. You have to just change your mentality and focus on what you really care about.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the true purpose of entertainment, isn't that the true purpose of entertainment? To lift people up, to brighten their moods. That's what it's all about. It doesn't matter, if it's an opera singer or very, very professionally trained, or someone that's just doing really cool dance routines on TikTok.
Right. Now, speaking of TikTok, are you on TikTok, William?
No, not yet. I had to figure out a way to get into that too.
All right, it's getting popular. I see it all over the place now.
Yeah.
Everyone's on TikTok. I expect to see you on there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a viral video.
Yeah.
Okay, so this next question is from Maggie. So, do you have a daily routine that you follow to keep yourself motivated?
Yes, I do. Daily routines. I love my morning routine. I wouldn't be the same without it. And I just started doing it the last 3 to 6 months. So my morning routine includes hydrating, drinking water as soon as I get up, meditating, and then I would have breakfast. I would exercise. I would shower. All those things, right? And then I also make sure I check my emails, my camera requests, and things like that before I start my day. So that's my routine. I don't always follow like exact order. I'm not someone that likes to follow exact order, but I feel like I need to do all those things before my mind is right to start my day.
Okay, so that's the start of your day. How about your afternoon and evening routines then? Do you have a set routine then on here? Here's when you prioritize, here's when you focus on your poker, or here's where you focus on some of your other initiatives.
Yes, I do. So the way I do it is I use something called a focus session. So this method came from it's not so, I wouldn't say it's original, but just the main idea is that you would work 4 hour blocks each day. You're doing like the creative work, right? So 50 minutes of work time, 10-minute break. 50 minutes of work time, 10-minute break. And you only get 4 of those each day. And the reason is 4 is because there's a lot of research supporting that your brain can only handle that much. So I usually have my morning routine between 9 to 10 a.m. And then my focus sessions between 10 to 2. And then the rest of the day I can enjoy, do whatever I want. I can play poker, I can watch YouTube, whatever.
And that's good advice, since a lot of us now are either, unfortunately out of a job or working from home. So it's always important to have these routines in place because, we're not in the office space anymore. We're not where we used to be in our prior roles, our prior jobs. So
right.
You have to focus on, staying at home
right.
as well as sure you're still productive all the time.
Right. And just to elaborate just a little bit more about what I do in my focus sessions. The focus sessions, I don't use it to play poker. That's because that's not the long-term impact, right? So the focus sessions, sometimes I use it to create my next webinar. I would sit down and visualize and rehearse my future. Sometimes I take multiple sessions working on overcoming my own self-limiting beliefs. Right, the creative work that will have a bigger impact.
Yep, I agree. Okay, so this next question is from Karen. Hi, William. I have a lot of passions, and I want to pursue them all, but it's not realistic to do so.
Mm-hmm.
How do you juggle everything with your poker life, life coaching, motivational speaking, things like that? And if you were in your 20s again, what would you do differently? So maybe let's focus on the first set of the questions first.
Right. Okay, I would say that it's all about blocking time in your calendar and be realistic in terms of how much you can juggle. I would say that yeah, of course, you cannot suddenly learn 8 or 10 different things at once. I would just learn maybe 1 or 2 at most. So that's what I'm doing now, right? I have my set schedule for getting my hours in for poker to sustain the lifestyle I want. And then I also make time to do the speaking, to do the cameo appearances. So that's how I would do it. So for your situation, it depends on where you're at. If you just figure out what to start, I would say spend most of your time researching one thing at a time, like just one. Maybe it's right for you, maybe it's not right for you, but go deep into it before you make a decision.
Okay. So you have to do your due diligence first to make a decision to prioritize and focus on that.
Yeah, I was give my own example because the way I decided on poker is because I researched many other things. I tried many other things in life, and I don't feel passionate about those things. That's why and that's what it takes, right? I tried to play Hearthstone, for example. I wanted to play a mobile game called Clash Royale. I saw these cool streamers. It looks like fun, but at the end, I don't enjoy it enough to make it work for me. That's what it comes down to, right? Because there's nothing easy out there. Everything is hard work. Everything you have to hustle every single day. But what is something in your life that no matter how hard it is, you're ready to wake up and come back to it?
Yep, you gotta find your passion.
Mm-hmm.
And then so the second part of the question is, if you're in your 20s again, what would you do differently? So what would you tell your 20 yourself, William, hey, here's what you should do?
Oh, wow. I'm not sure because back then it was a very different world. I still love video games. I played like Final Fantasy. I spent like hundreds of hours on it, but I don't think there was that same opportunity back then to be a professional gamer. So yeah, maybe explore different paths. Maybe I wouldn't audition for American Idol. I don't know. Maybe audition for more music shows. But I would say maybe the best thing I could have done is perhaps take a step back and look at what I really wanted in my life instead of just, okay, civil engineering, great. You could graduate, get paid lots of money. I don't think that's the right reason to do something.
Got it. Okay, so I think that answers your question. Let's move on to the next one. Let's see. This one is from Maggie. What has been one of your biggest challenges in life, and how have you overcome it?
Oh, biggest challenges in life. One of my biggest challenges in life is getting married and divorced twice. Yeah, I like if I found it very hard to be trusting and find the right girl. But I would say that the most painful lesson was like I lost a lot of money, but I also emotionally, mentally, if I felt like there was this negative impact, it's like, oh my God, I don't want to get married again. But when I finally take a step back, now looking back at it, I would say I just didn't know what I want. So that's why I would, if you do need to look for a next life partner, make sure you understand their values and their visions, not just their external beauty. That's the biggest lesson I learned. And in terms of overcoming it, definitely reach out to people. I'm very, very fortunate to have some friends from Toastmasters I reached out to. They cheer me up. They reminded me of my previous success, and they told me, you have a choice. They didn't tell me what to do, but they told me you have a choice. That you could be stuck where you are now, or you could go back up to where you were before, inspiring a lot of people.
Yeah, and then speaking of Toastmasters, that's one of the things that people always recommend too. Get active, get involved with your local Toastmasters chapters, because public speaking these days is so important.
Yeah,
going out there, participating, and being a member, that means so much and helps you develop so much as an individual, from a career standpoint, from a personal standpoint. And like you mentioned, you even developed a bunch of relationship and close friends now.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of benefit in going out there and joining a Toastmasters chapter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them around, wherever you live. Look them up. I'm not sure if they're getting together now in person, but hopefully they still have
virtual meetings. Yeah.
Exactly. So hopefully they have virtual meetings, and that way you could practice public speaking via virtual meetings, because that's where we're headed now. That's the world we live in these days.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so I'll move on to the next couple of questions here. So it looks like we have 5 minutes left. I'll try to filter through the last couple of questions. So this one is a fun. Let's transition to a fun question. So this is from Rendell. Are you playing Final Fantasy VII Remake?
Oh, I heard about it. The graphics are beautiful, but no, I haven't had a chance to play yet. But I might try it.
What type of games are you into now? Then, what do you focus on?
I'm still focused mostly on poker. Because so here's the something that like an insight. So the way I study is very systematic, because it's not just passively watching videos. Or watching, discussing hand history with friends. The way I study is I would break down one specific situation, and then I would go really deep into like strategies and counter strategies. It's almost like the pattern recognition. So yeah, so I really enjoy it. It's hard work, but I enjoy it. In terms of other games I might get back into, Hearthstone is actually cool. I like the new changes in the meta game. So I might get into a little bit of that, but yeah, I don't want to get too distracted though, because I for some reason I have a history where if I get addicted to a game, then I don't want to do anything else.
That's all of us, I think. Every time with the game, I'm really passionate about it. I find myself playing it from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning, and you just forget about it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking at the time check here. We have about 3 minutes left. I wanted to spend I think majority of our questions are answered. I wanted to spend some time for you to highlight on the free gift that you're giving everybody on the call today, or on the webinar today. So you mentioned you're going to give away your pillars of success. Can you highlight that a little bit for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So you could go to my website, willhung.com. You can join my email list, and then you get the 4 pillars to become a speaking superstar. Even though it's because based on the world pandemic is a little bit outdated, it's still relevant. All the pillars are still relevant because it talks about like how do you design the life that you want, and then figure out how to leverage your speaking. So Jimmy, I absolutely agree with you. It doesn't matter what your passion is, you have to communicate to build that community. You have to put yourself out there. There's no way around it. It doesn't matter if you're a gamer, you're a knitter, it doesn't matter. Yeah, you have to put yourself out there.
Yeah, I can agree more on this. So we have the email addresses of all the attendees and everyone who registered. So I'll also send them a copy of the 4 pillars.
Of course.
Yeah. You'll have that directly in your email as well. That way you could refer back to it, learn from it, get some advice from it, and apply that to what you do on not only in public speaking, but I took a read through that. On a daily basis, you can apply that to being successful.
Right.
Trying to your 9-to-5 job, even.
Yeah, right.
What you will focus on, you could apply that. Those are great advice that you can definitely utilize.
Yeah.
And get you to the next level.
Yeah.
So that's very helpful. Okay, so I guess we have another minute left before I end the webinar. Any last words or last advice that you would give to everybody on the session today?
Well, definitely never give up chasing your dreams. Chasing your dreams is not about reaching this unobtainable goal. It's not about making a few $1 billion by next year. Chasing your dreams is about taking inspired action every day based on the impact that you want to make, based on the why you feel like you want to show up to life every day. And then eventually when you show up consistently, you put in that inspired action. That's when you see the results.
Great, and thank you so much for spending your time answering all these questions. I know you have a very busy schedule, so we really appreciate you dedicating your time and helping us out with the AMA session. So we really appreciate everything that you do and continue motivating others.
Thank you.
We're thankful to have you in our community to support us. So we appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. I'm going to end the session now. So we appreciate it. And we look from hearing your feedback and everything. Take care, everybody. Bye.